Seamless acceptance is here, and mailers all over the country are working to successfully comply with its requirements. We're here to tell you their stories. Welcome to Seamless Success, where we guide you to successful seamless acceptance strategies. Tune in as Jeff Peoples sits down with successful mailers, highlighting their colorful stories to illustrate their winning strategies. Listen to their valuable insights. Discover the right tools and processes they used. Understand best practices and grow your seamless success. Here is your host, Jeff Peoples.
Richard, welcome to the show, Seamless Success. And today we're going to be speaking a little bit about some common problems people have with undocumented mail. And you've been doing some research. Do you mind giving us a little bit of an update of what you've been finding?
Yeah, so it's all about, hi, Jeff. It's great to be here. And you know what it's all about undocumented barcodes and matching them with job info and job status info is what we found. So, you know, when we started working, we started working together years and years ago, but when we started working together on this project, the question was, why are people struggling to go full seamless? Get to a state of full seamless success. And when we went out and we talked to the customers about it and we comprehended everything about what seamless meant, what it meant to go parallel, what it meant to go full, the thing we kept hearing them say was, I'm having problems with undocumented mail pieces. And so we were like, what does that mean? And so we dug in, and fortunately for Window Book, you know, there's several customers who really function like development partners. They are actively building their own solutions to try and solve their problems as well. So we had a number of great customers turn back around and say to us, let's explain to you what's happening when it comes to undocumented mail. And they said, what happens is, first of all, we have, you know, this moment of paranoia, this moment of overwhelm, this health scare where they get an assessment notice that shows some unreasonably high amount of money, like shockingly high amount of money. You know, we've heard people talk in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars. And they get this bill and they go, well, what caused that? What's the problem there? And, you know, when we first talked to them about this, we kept hearing stories of how it took, you know, 2 to 3 to 4 months of work to figure out how to get that bill eliminated, to basically prove to the post office that they didn't owe as much money as they were being told they owed. And it was just this harrowing experience. And so we went in and we studied what this experience was. And what we found is that the months and months and months and all the hard labor that goes into those months to get to a place where you can explain to the post office, hey, we don't actually owe you all that money, was it came down to the mail service provider needing to be able to find the barcodes that were in question from their IVMTR error feed, and then match those barcodes with their associated job info, whether they're paid, whether they're unpaid, and other details related to the job and the job status, so that they could then go back to the post office and say, see, this is why it came up as undocumented in your system, but I shouldn't be assessed for that. And we heard story after story of people who were like, I got a $64,000 assessment. I finally got it down to $4,000. But that drop in 60 grand came after 3 months of work that was painstaking and very labor intensive and filled with uncertainty. And we weren't sure where to start. So when we heard all that, we thought, okay, you know, we have access to the right systems. The data is mature enough that we can actually pull together an automated solution that gives people the ability to just automatically have their undocumented mail piece barcode and their job info and job status info pulled into one place automatically, so that they can bypass that 2 to 3 month process or the extra time they're still spending, because it's like anything. Once they've gone through it once, now they kind of understand how to do it a little bit better. People are starting to get a handle on this, but what they kept saying to us is, yeah, but it's still a lot of work, you know? we're still spending time. They're very proud. They're getting to the thresholds. They're getting to the place where they actually have brought the levels down and they're managing them. But even those that are doing that, and not all of them are, but even those that are doing that are saying it takes a lot of work. And we had to build custom code systems. We had to build software systems that would pull this data together for us. And so this is really what it's about. Going full seamless means you have to be compliant. And if you're not compliant, you start getting assessments. And the biggest driver of assessments is the undocumented mail piece. And the fastest path to being able to successfully dispute the claim on the post office's part that you have an undocumented mail piece is to be able to show them the job info that's associated with the barcodes and error. And the labor that goes into getting that pulled together is intensive. Hence, that's why we focused right there. And we're super excited about this. I just saw a demo yesterday. You were there. The team has built this great tool. It's very, very clean. It's fast. It's efficient. You open it up, and the first thing you see is a graph that says for this month and for this month, here was the total number. Here's your total seamless volume. Here's your total undocumented mail pieces. Here they are as a percentage of that volume. And here's all their barcode info. And here's all their job info. And here's all their job status info in groups that we think are valuable, like paid, unpaid, matched to job info, unmatched to job info. Oh, this one went to an external, someone else who submitted my eDocs for me. I got a commingler over here. This one over here, I decided to categorize a little differently. You can add custom categories to it. You can say, well, actually, you know what it was is I had a defect in my pre-sort software that accidentally gave me different barcodes than the ones that were actually sprayed on the mail pieces. And what I want to do is take a list of those that I have, upload it to your system, match them against the data you have in your system, and then call that out as a category. Say, this was a bug from my pre-sort software, so I can show that to the post office and say, look, this was just a bug from my pre-sort software. I did pay for the postage. So this is really what we're doing. It's been an incredible journey. It was a real odyssey, We had to travel all over the country. We went into one mail service provider's office after another and sat there with them and just had them explain to us, this is what we're going through. This is the challenge of it. But as we did that, and that was so fun, it's just so nice going out there and hanging out, talk about some real slice of Americana, the postal industry, just going in and hanging out with these folks, breaking bread with them and having them explain to us this challenge so that we could be of better service. That's been a real joy. And so super excited about this. We have this tool coming out, Jeff, in just a few weeks. We'll be doing this. We'll have it in a beta offering where people are going to be able to come in, sign up, get their systems pouring data into this tool so that they can quickly and efficiently get to this outcome of the undocumented mail barcode with its job info and its job status info, and start having those conversations sooner and faster and with a whole lot less overwhelm, a whole lot less time and energy spent to reduce the extra postage fees. And so that's coming out soon. We already have a bunch of customers who are saying, yeah, that's it. That's what I need. I want in. And so it's a good community that's growing around it. And it's just been a real pleasure. That's what we've been up to.
Yeah. So in October 2021, we'll have the ability to get people so that they can automatically see their undocumented barcodes associated with job information in a super seamless automatic way. But between now and then, isn't there some things that they could do and we can help them prepare for that?
Yeah. So specifically, we need to have access to their IBMTR error feed. And that really becomes a simple process of them assigning us as a steward who can actually receive that data. It's a configurable setting, and we know how to help them do that. So we want to be able to get on a call with them and just quickly help them configure that properly. And then the other thing is, we have a tool called PostalWeb Connect, and PostalWeb Connect is what allows us to go through PostalWeb Connect to retrieve data that we need, job info data from their mail.dat file, and also job status information from Postal One. And the setup and configuration of PostalWeb Connect and the desktop client that comes with it is also a requirement for using this system. So for window book customers, the good news is for most AppMail customers, they already have licenses to all these things. They don't need to buy something new for PostalWeb Connect. And for the beta, they don't need to buy anything new. The whole idea, but we do need to get them set up. We gotta help them get these configurations done. So one of the things we're going to be doing here, when we send this podcast out in the email, if people just look in the email, we'll actually have a date listed in the email where we will be hosting an event where people can come. We'll cover the work that needs to be done to get them set up and configured. We'll give them a document if they'd like to attempt to do it themselves. But we will also be setting up free one-on-ones where we will sit down with them and just basically help them get it configured. And we've got a team that does this all day, every day. They're really, really good at it.
Yeah, and don't they also get a free Your Score if you're part of this program? Which we've been charging about $1,000 or $1,200 for. So
yeah, that's an instant value to them, and it's something that allows us to, all of us, the postal service, mail service provider, window book, Your Score really becomes a great basis for a high functioning conversation about how to get to seamless success. And so, yeah, I mean, people are hugely incentivized to come and get that free product. And then, but the value, I think the value that people are really going to get from this, and, customers are the ones who've explained this to me. They've said, it's not just the way it's not just the way that we were able to reduce the total assessment. Really what it is, and why this tool is valuable, is because of all the time, energy, panic, disruption to an otherwise, it's not like any of these folks, like if you grabbed any one of these companies and said, hey, would you mind taking your mail supervisor and one of your best people and offlining them for the next 3 months while they go figure out some Alice in Wonderland down the rabbit hole problem? And would that be a problem? I mean, I know you have sales work to do and service work to do and mail to produce and all those things, but can you just kind of put all that on hold? Oh, during the pandemic, it's not like any of these folks, is just sitting around with a giant luxury of time. And so they're like, look, just the mere fact that you take us out of that state of chaos and stress and running around. I remember one customer, I was like, so how do you think that impacted the rest of the business when that happened? She got an assessment for 1.4 million pieces. That's like almost $500,000 in additional postage. And I said, when you guys went through that health scare, and then you went through the process of figuring out how to fix it, how did that impact the rest of the business? And she was like, oh, I don't even want to think about that. She's like, I don't even want to think about the disruption. The value is that you're getting past, you're able to bypass that disruption. You get the assessment, you get your scorecard data, and you're just able to step back up to the post office and say, here are the categories. Here's the job info. Can we please get this thing settled quickly? And that's the real value. And so, in terms of the time savings, the reduction of stress, the overall success on the path to adopting seamless, this tool is indispensable. I had another customer say to me, she's one of our more experienced customers who's a pretty senior mail supervisor and is over multiple locations. And she said, I coach a lot of folks who run mailrooms. People call me and they want, to get advice about what to do. And she says, this is the tool that more than the majority of the people I'm coaching need. Like they need this because they're out going around manually trying to scrape this data together. This automates it. So So yeah, that it's going to be hugely valuable for folks. And, we're excited to reach out to the market now that we've done so much good work, and just say, hey, we got a tool, we've got a solution for you that's really going to help you save time and be more effective in your efforts to implement Seamless.
I've heard some of the clients say, we can even build these systems, but then they have to worry about keeping that programmer. What if that programmer leaves?
Yeah.
That team, and are they really in that business? And I've heard some people say, look, I really don't want, is that what you've been hearing too?
Absolutely. So, these folks are super innovative and technical and skillful. And so, once you go and you gather all the job info and the job status info and the barcode info together manually once or twice, they start having the thought, oh, well, I can just write some programs that automatically do that. But the problem is, we've been at this for a year with a team of super professional programmers who work on this stuff all the time and have a deep bench of experience in the industry. And it still took us a good chunk of time to build a good system, right? So, first of all, there's the time and energy that they have to put into building that system. But then, of course, software, is not a machine. It's not like a car that just runs. Software is kind of a living, breathing, evolving organism that's interacting with the people that are using it. And it needs to be updated, maintained. It's not like it exists in an environment that isn't evolving either. Like the data that comes into it changes, the data that goes out of it therefore changes. And so building a piece of software feels great, but as those of us who've worked in the software industry for the last 10, 20, 30 years know, software is its own business, and it has a lot of complexity, and the servicing and the maintaining and the upgrading of a software system is expensive. And so, and if you don't have an associated revenue stream to it, or if you don't have a business model associated with it, it becomes hard to justify those expenses. And so this is why we hear mail service providers who say, yeah, our mail supervisor went ahead and coded up an application that's doing some of this automatically. But the IT department has a rule of no homegrown software. Because all too often, you build something homegrown, and then, like you said, what if the programmer who wrote it, for some reason is no longer available to work on it? Now all of a sudden you have this thing that's written in a Greek that no one can understand, and no one can edit. And then also, your mail supervisor, you want them supervising mail production, not off in a room, figuring out coding problems. And they'll candidly say that. They'll say, yeah, I initially it was fun, but now that I'm maintaining it and upgrading it, it's like it takes a lot of time. So the whole idea is we want to take that whole bundle of time, the overwhelm, the stress, the panic, the time spent in manual labor, the time spent building a custom system, the time spent maintaining a system. We're going to take all that time off your plate and replace it with a tool built to order that just simplifies that entire process for you and gives you what you need. Job info, job status info with your undocumented bill barcodes. And that's why, when we build something like this, we don't like to build things that people aren't going to use. And so we as we built this, we just keep checking again and again and again with the customer. Is this something you'd use? Is this something you need? Is this something that improves your reality? And we've gotten a ton of validation like that. We've had all these folks who basically have been development partners for us throughout the process. So.
Yeah, I would imagine it also gives them some certainty, because, when you've got another thing you have to be concerned about, oh, well, what if this person leaves, or what if the Postal Service changed the data feed, or those kinds of things. Most people in business now are trying to get to the point where they focus on their area of excellence and
the core competency.
Yeah, and not worry about, things that are, if you can take a area of uncertainty and you can put it into a certainty for a small fee, that usually people are interested in that.
Yeah, that's for sure. And for these folks, you want to talk about certainty. WindowBook's been solving problems for the mail industry for 30 years now. This is a company with a brand that is built off word of mouth from one mailroom supervisor to the next, who's just basically said, if you want the tool that's really the best for editing your mail.dat files, you need to use WindowBook's DAT mail product. And that base of users has come to trust the company. And so, we're stepping in and we're providing leadership again, as WindowBook has now for 30 years, in an area where there's just a lot of pain, which we were fortunately really able to help out with, because we just live in that world of job info. We live in that world of job status. We live in that world of barcodes from a systems perspective. And so, yeah, but the point is, they're going to be they're going to be able to put their trust in the WindowBook team, in the WindowBook engineering, in the WindowBook product. And that's where a lot of them already have the trust. Those who know that WindowBook's what you use for your post pre-sort. Yeah. And now it's going to turn into those who know that WindowBook is what you use to manage your undocumented mail barcodes and matching them up with job info and job status data.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say a lot of people don't realize that WindowBook does custom development for certain, quite a few big mailers. And by doing this kind of work over the years, we've been able to ascertain certain knowledge so that this project can come together so quickly on a base of very tried and true code. And so that's one.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. We've solved this problem already. This isn't some shot in the dark. We work with, half the mail in the system goes through WindowBook mail service providers. And so we've got some of the very biggest shops out there. They come to us and say, we need a custom system built just to order that accomplishes this. That's really where we found out about the need for an undocumented mail piece barcode matching with job info and job status info. That was the requirement we got from this huge customer. Then, as we went out and talked with dozens and dozens and dozens of other customers, got to the point where we're like, how's Seamless going? Yeah, it's going. We're on track to go full. Great. Have you had any problems with undocumented mail pieces? Yeah. What are the problems with undocumented mail pieces? The panic, the overwhelm, followed by enormous amounts of manual labor trying to pull together undocumented mail piece barcodes with job info and job status data. It's really hard. And when we hear so much of that, well, we have a giant customer who's having us build a custom solution that does just that. That's when we thought, okay, this is something that's more generally needed by the marketplace. And so that's how we've built this tool. Now it's software as a service. It's built on a beautiful tech spec that works lickety split. We ran a report yesterday, pulled in, some 80,000 pages of data with like 50 rows per page. And it just ran the query and executed it just like that. The page just refreshes like that. It's not, it's not doing some big twirly, run forever while it thinks about it, not like that. You can filter on any of the columns related to job info. You can sort on any of the columns. You can search for any particular thing, barcode, serial number, CRID. You can export all of that into a CSV file that is just the data you need. So you start at, let's say you started 1 million records and now you're down to, 120,000 records, and those 120,000 records have just the info you need to dispute that charge or that element of the charge. That's what you're able to do with this tool. And so it's definitely something that the market has been reaching for, and trying to figure out. And we're just super proud to be of service and help. And to have something that we think is meaningful, really is going to save time and get people to the outcome they're looking for, which is, keep me out of those undocumented mail piece crosshairs.
Yeah, that's. I'm glad you mentioned about the SaaS or the software as a service aspect, because it seems like so many mailers over the years have like a spreadsheet, and yeah, it may be on a server, but it's really for just a few people. And where this, you can have cross training, you can have it. You can run it on a Mac, you can run it on a PC, you can run it from home, you can run it from the office, you can run it from anywhere.
Exactly.
That really makes a huge difference for them, for accessibility and continuity, because some of these people retire. Some of these people have years of excellence, but as they retire, they're able to, and a lot of these people have been contributing their brain power into these systems so that the next group
Carry
can
on.
get it. Yeah. So, but they can carry on through this new SaaS platform. Whereas, doing it through a spreadsheet on a network is a lot more dangerous for them.
Yeah, it is. And so it gives you all those advantages, the power and scalability of grid computing, where you don't have to manage the hardware and the storage and all that stuff yourself. Gives you that. The accessibility from anything, with a browser, you don't actually have to be carrying around the computer that has the app installed and configured just that way. You're actually able to get into it. Single source of truth, Oftentimes the mail room supervisor would be the one who goes in and does the cursory research. We just got an assessment for $100,000. Pulls together all the information for that period, kind of sorts through it, figures things out, calls it down to just the data that's in question. And then they'll evolve another team member. Go find out the information about these jobs right here, or handle this conversation. Teamwork is the point. People rely, and this system allows them to work collaboratively in one place and build off one another's progress, so that not everybody's coming at it fresh. It's like you go to the doctor, you go to the ER with a busted foot, and there's 5 different doctors who come in and want to have the exact same conversation with you again and again and again, and nobody seems to be sharing any information with each other. That's like the worst. What we want a system where everybody's able to collaborate and build off of each other's progress and intelligence quickly. So that, it's got all those great SaaS advantages, and it's very modern. It's very clean. It's very clean and beautiful. Nice application.
Excellent. Well, Richard, I think we're running out of time here, but is there anything you want to say on just how and you've been at this now and meeting for, well over a year now, and just visiting clients and whatnot, going around the country. And so this isn't something where it was done where the traditional product manager hears about a problem and designs it. It's been you've had
our customers showed us the way.
Yeah.
Our customers showed us the way. They showed us exactly where the pain was and exactly where they needed help. And that's why this is going to be successful is, we learned, they told us, this is where I'm spending time and money right now. If you can save me that time and money, this has value to me. And that's what we've designed. So, you talk about final thoughts. Oh, just a couple. One thing I would say is, certainly in this email here, make sure you look at the date that we have listed. And please come to this meeting where we're going to talk to you about all the things that need to be set up before the beta so that we can actually get you and your company set up in the tool. And then secondly, I just say, again, what a fine group of people and great experience this has been. I've worked in a lot of industries, and few times have I enjoyed myself as much as I have just getting to know the mail service provider community, the postal community. It's just really a fantastic group of extremely helpful, very intelligent people who are just always ready and on the job and full of good knowledge. And so it's been a real joy working on this project.
Great. Okay. Well, thanks, Richard, for coming to the show, and look forward to talking with you again.
You bet, Jeff. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to today's episode of Seamless Success. Start elevating your strategies as a mailer and make a big impact on this continuously evolving industry. Like what you just heard? Want to get more of it? Don't forget to subscribe to the show and leave a rating at podcast.windowbook.com. See you on the next episode.